Yo, Scrawny with the skinny, back at it with the fantasy land, and back at it with the struggles. Ooh, it's not our season, folks. Not where we want to be. Unfortunately, it's where we are. We went in on the Cloud9 Axile pick, and you know what? I knew that Cloud9 playoffs major bullshit was some fluke. All right? It's just, think of all the poor suckers that fell for Launder's propaganda. And then remember that I am next to him day in, day out throughout that entire spree of Counter-Strike. So it was just festering and invading my thoughts. And unfortunately, it followed through into the groups where, ironically, I even talked about Astralis having a good chance at beating FaZe. That could have been my way in. But I don't have that killer instinct at the moment, okay? I don't have the pep in my step. I don't have that pizzazz, that je ne sais quoi that really lets a fantasy season breathe and take off, right? I just don't have it. I ain't got it. I'm dead in the water here, folks. We finished top 69% for the Chengdu groups. Went in on MOUZ, who ended up going to semis, but went in on Brolin as opposed to Yimfat, which would have paid off immensely in comparison. Outperformed by Torsi is never a good sign. Mir, Norbert could have been it. And even despite FaZe's struggles, at least Kerrigan in their big loss versus Astralis still managed to grab some points. So whatever, we got 2 points. 2 points! Whoa! 2 points! And that leaves us down here at 17th. Ugh. I can feel your looks of disgust as you realize that the person who you tune into event after event is 17th on the celebrity leaderboard. And reality check, if I were to go join the normies, oh Jesus, we're outside of the top 5,000, man. But I'm not gonna give up, because that's not how we roll, dude. That's not me. That's not the Scrawn Dog mantra. Top 10 seems elusive. Top 5 seems impossible. But I think there's like 7, 8 more events throughout the season. And also, shout out to HLTV for bringing me in for the fantasy focus videos. Those YouTube videos that were kind of like Fantasyland, but not quite like Fantasyland last season. And then this season, they became shorts. That's something I did quit. Yep, gonna focus more on my own fantasy videos because this format is the one that I really love. So just to let you guys know, you won't see me over there doing HLTV fantasy stuff. You're gonna see me here on my own YouTube, which means less income. That's okay. It's not all about income. But I would appreciate an extra level of support if you guys can like the videos, make sure them views keep cranking. I've been killing it with the views, to be honest. I don't know if it was because of the major traction and my pick'em success, etc. But you guys have been turning up big, and I appreciate that. Drop a comment, leave a like, show your grandma. Actually, call your grandmother too while you're at it. You should probably check in. Yeah, you should. So, what are we going to do about this, okay? What are we going to do? What are we going to do with what's left of this season? Well, we have a philosophical chance here to just suddenly swing for the fucking fences every single event, right? We go big or go bust. Do we want to do that? Maybe. I Am Chengdu gives us an opportunity to do so. We've got 6 teams. We've got 2 teams that didn't even attend the damn major in Liquid and Astralis, looking incredibly good. But look at this half of the bracket. This, to me, kind of screams major playoffs as well, where all eyes fall on one half of the bracket, and we're thinking that the winner of this event should surely be coming from this side, because FaZe have been in every grand finals of every CS2 event they've attended. So to bet versus Liquid, I'm going to take that one, okay? Cool event for Liquid, not there yet. FaZe will beat them. FaZe will play Astralis for the rematch. Virtus Pro versus G2. Might as well close your eyes, flip a coin, spin in a circle, spit on the ground, summon Satan, and ask him his thoughts, because I don't know how to call that one. The last time these 2 teams played, we literally had to have God intervene. So pick your poison. G2 or Virtus Pro. I'm personally inclined to go G2 because I think the superstar power of m0NESY right now is a lot to handle. There was a Hooksy interview that came out today, yesterday, whatever. Hooksy saying, I don't want to say he's the best player in the world, but he is in the best form, or something along those lines. He is absolutely on fire, and that's not stopping. So I would say Monacy just alone could end up beating Virtus Pro. Depends on if Hunter really sinks this ship. Gotta say, dude, I think his fantasy price tag's down to like 189, which is absolutely insane. We're talking about somebody who was floating 211s at the end of CSGO. So, whew, life comes at you fast. G2 versus MOUZ rematch and a FaZe versus Astralis rematch from Chengdu itself. Now, listen, man. Guys, I think I'm going to do it again. I can't stop making this mistake. MOUZ, baby. MOUZ are going to beat G2/Virtus Pro and go into the grand final because MOUZ, I don't know what it is about them, all right? This team has literally lost me 500 euros in a bet to pimp. This team has lost me fantasy event after fantasy event, but I just can't stop banking on MOUZ because when they do pull it off, because mark my goddamn words, they are going to win a tier 1 event in CS2 this year, 2024. It's going to happen. It's got to happen because they are in playoffs as frequently as FaZe, for Christ's sake. I mean, MOUZ have been in all the playoffs. It's just a matter of who topples them. And, I was riding this narrative back in Copenhagen that only FaZe can defeat them. Only FaZe can defeat them. Well, G2 gave them an ass whooping in the quarterfinals of the major. But there's a weird thing there because we already bank on their pressure. The pressure being their pain point. And then on top of that, we had people rushing the stage. And that's total cope because I'm going to be real. I think G2 2-0 that anyways. But I think it's just they're not going to win at the major. That was unfortunately my fault with predicting MOUZ. They're not going to do it at the major because they're dealing with pressure in playoffs. But Chengdu, bro, there's no pressure in Chengdu for playoffs. In my mind, I think the crowd's going to be sick. I think the event's going to be dope. I think everybody there is feeling like a rock star right now, which is great. But they're going through the move over and over and over and over, and it's going to break through, goddammit. I see this event kind of like IEM Dallas of last year with CSGO, where MOUZ ended up getting into the finals versus ENCE. And, well, of course they lost that. But it was Dexter's fault, not Shuhei's. Put Shuhei in another grand final, and god damn it, they're going to win it. And we could end up getting, back-to-back Chinese events with FaZe and MOUZ in grand finals, because that's what I think is going to happen. I think that FaZe, after defeating Liquid, will defeat Astralis as well. I just bank on FaZe, A, in playoffs, and B, in a rematch. Kerrigan's going to be coming, right? This is an Astralis that caught FaZe in the opening stage of an event. Again, it's the form of Astralis that is intimidating, most certainly. The nature of their wins have been so lopsided that you can't help but put respect on that one. But I think Kerrigan will figure it out, and I think Kerrigan will defeat Astralis in the rematch. We're going to get a FaZe versus MOUZ grand final where FaZe win. Surprise, FaZe win. Just because FaZe always beat MOUZ. And if this is the one time that MOUZ beat FaZe, woo, that's what we're waiting for. It's going to happen eventually. It could very well happen in Chengdu. Fatigue is setting in for a team like FaZe. The players themselves have talked about it. I'm telling you, MOUZ want this. Ooh, they want this worse than anybody. So, MOUZ FaZe grand finals, FaZe wins, MOUZ comes second or first. Here's the draft. The Corn Dogs coming at you hot. I'm going Brokey and Rain because these two in playoffs have performed throughout this run of grand finals for FaZe. And Rain is $194,000. You dodge Kerrigan and you dodge Shuhei because love him. Absolutely love the guy. But in terms of fantasy, man, Shuhei is a rock. He's an anchor. He drags you down. He's not worth the money. So, yeah, okay, you get 6 points seeing as he's a semifinalist, but Shuhei's just not pulling in ratings when they're playing in group stages, let alone playoffs. Call's great. Gets the most out of his players. Is working with very... I don't want to say little talent. That seems kind of rude. Working with less than some other IGLs, and yet here he is in playoffs oh so consistently, time and time again. So I'm going Zersh and Torzi. I think these guys need to step up. Yimfat should be at the top. Brolin is coming down a little bit. I think he's kind of like slotting in. He was so hot in the honeymoon phase with MOUZ. Don't doubt him. Think he could have big moments still, but you know what? If MOUZ are going to win, it's going to have to be across the board, and that's why I'm just putting it back on Zershin and Torji. And, yeah. God, I look at this, and I think it's so vanilla. It's so boring. Why not draft a Strawless, Scrawny? Why not believe in Liquid? Okay? Because we're having a bad season, guys. Can you trust anything I'm saying right now? I'm outside of the top 5,000. I'm actually here asking you for help. So leave those comments. Tell me what I should be doing. Get me out of here. Save me, please. This has been Fantasyland. Late night and a different flavor. I'm not even going to bother with the other players. We're off the rails.